Hey everybody, I'm Sara Wiseman. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the idea of gratitude and how that can be a part of your spiritual practice. Now, my journey to gratitude was not the normal way. Most of us think about gratitude as we consider what we're grateful for, or we count our blessings, or we have a gratitude practice where we journal about the things that we're grateful for, and we keep track day to day. So I wish I were I wish I were a person that approached things that way, but I tend to approach things a little differently. And what happened was a while back, some years ago, I was writing some books on intuition, and the publisher came to me, and those were published, and that was happening. And the publisher said, well, we'd like to do another book with you, and we'd like it to be on gratitude. It's so hot right now, right? Gratitude. A lot of times publishers will come and say, like, great, you wrote these, and would you like to do this? We're looking to fill a hole. And I'm like, okay, gratitude, sure. So I accepted this contract, or this job, with unfortunately not a huge amount of thought. Of I just kind of thought, yeah, I can figure that out. Like, what was I thinking? So anyway, so the book is due in whatever time, and I sit down to start to write it, and I realize I don't know the first thing about gratitude, and I am super resistant to writing about what I'm grateful for, which is a lot. And I'm super resistant to keeping a gratitude journal or doing those things that we're, taught to do. So I began how I'd received information before. I just thought, I will just work with guidance. And so every day I went into meditation, and I said to the universe, please help me with this gratitude book. I would love for you to show me not what I think I'm grateful for, but universe, please bring to me what I'm supposed to understand as gratitude, what I'm grateful for. And so the result was, here is the book. It did get finished, Living a Life of Gratitude. Every single day I went out, and I was shown some amazing experience, or I had some astounding experience. And it's not even that the experience itself maybe was so earth-shattering. One of the stories is just about driving. I used to live in the country back then, and driving down a road where there was an orchard along the side of the road, and seeing on the ground suddenly in fall all these beautiful apples, and seeing on the trees all these beautiful apples, and realizing the idea of abundance and the idea of nature being so generous to us. And that simple vision, which before I had this task of this book, before I would have just driven by orchard, okay. But because I was paying attention, and I was counting on the universe, and I was actually under stress to make sure I got a story every day or every few days, I saw this beautiful thing. Another story that I really love is, while working on the book, I went into, in the town I live, I dropped into this dance studio where I actually used to, a long time ago, have an office. So I kind of was familiar with the building, an old building. And I just went in there to kind of walk around and see what was going on. Nobody was there. All the doors were unlocked. It was open, but vacant. I was just kind of sitting there and steeping in the sense of this big room and the bars, and the windows, the bars, the bars for ballet, the windows, the great space. And suddenly this couple comes in, and they're really quite elderly. They're like 85, 90. I don't know how old they are. And they come in, and the man is carrying a boombox, and the woman's carrying some shoes. And then they come in and they do this long process of taking off their street shoes and putting on their dancing shoes. And then they turn on the boombox, and then they dance together very, very slowly and very carefully. And they do a dance they know, some kind of old-fashioned dance. And they dance for like 15 minutes. And I'm just sitting there watching it like, oh my gosh, I am witness to this extraordinary moment. And then just as carefully, they sit down again and they take their dancing shoes off and they put their regular shoes on and they go out into the world. And seeing things like that, because at that time I had this awareness of miracles are everywhere. All you got to do is pay attention. And I want to add, finally, during the course of this practice, a lot of really awful things happened too. My mom almost died. She was in the ICU back then. I myself had a pretty significant diagnosis, worked out okay, but at the time I didn't know that. And in the midst of being in intensive care with someone you love, maybe not going to make it, having your own, as a lot of you guys have, a health situation, in the middle of these things too, which you would not describe as wondrous or amazing. And yet this idea that, you might say God was in the room, or the universe was always there, however you want to word that. The divine was always there, whether the situation was beautiful or whether the situation was really intense and stressful. Gratitude for being in each moment. So if you are looking to start a kind of a gratitude practice that is not around doing a gratitude journal, those are great practices, but doing something a little differently. So you can get the book, Living a Life of Gratitude, or the course, The Gratitude Project, contains the recordings and the exercises. They're both really good ways to think about every moment of your life and how you are approaching that, and what you're seeing when you pay attention, and what you're missing when you are just kind of going by rote. It's a marvelous, amazing practice. And now that I know what that's about, I try and bring that into my day-to-day awareness as much as I can. Life is really cool. And when we pay attention, we can see it. I'm Sara Wiseman, and you will find me at sarawiseman.com. Thanks for listening.